Hey guys, I'm kind of new to the review video scene, but I kind of wanted to talk about duty belts today, law enforcement, security, some types of corrections. A little bit of background on me: I'm a state level law enforcement officer. I also have some regulatory duties as well. So this is the duty belt that's issued for me. Everybody's duty belt is going to be different from officer to agency, and then whatever your SOPs permit as well will impact your belt and your gear setup. A little bit of more background on our agency. We do plainclothes and Class C uniforms, which is polo, BDU, duty belt, and I do an external vest carrier as well for my body armor. Allows me to carry a little bit more gear, take it off my belt, help out my back. I'm going to start up front here. Our agency went a little bit cheap. They gave us a nylon. I replaced a lot of this actually. I lost a little weight, went to smaller belt. When I did that, I got different accessory pouches, replaced the old ones, had some wear on them. The front, double handcuff case. This will hold two standard double handcuffs. I use the ugly yellow asp handcuffs. I know a lot of guys will give me some flack for these. I've taken it in the past. They say, you know, these aren't as safe, they wrap around, and this is what they're referring to. As you can see, I mean, it was pretty effortless to get it there. I've used these in a correctional setting, a busy correctional setting in the Midwest, up by Chicago. I've used it as a sworn law enforcement officer. I had several pairs of these, never had that happen, even on combative subjects. I like them easy on, easy off. They actually unlock and double lock from both sides, which makes them, you know, highly efficient, very quick. And anybody who's worked in this field for any amount of time has lost cuffs to other officers. They take them to, you know, just out of busy or mistake, or, you know, quick work needs to be done. You get them on and off easier. There's next to no excuse. We don't do our own transport, so it makes it really easy for our transporting officers typically to swap them out quick. Guarantees I get my cuffs back. Moving on. This is one of those thumb release. I think these are SLS, and ALS is the button. Hood release holsters. I was issued this when I got hired here at this agency. Glock 19 Gen 4, a little bit more concealable pistol. Like I said, plainclothes typically at my office. Some of our offices are more uniformed. I'm typically the only uniformed officer in my office. I get a little bit better response out of people, and easier to identify. I get a better response, and I enjoy, you know, wearing the uniform. I do plainclothes on our slower days, but typically busier days I want to be in uniform for identification reasons. I switched this holster. I did have the thumb release SLS. Is this one? ALS is the thumb release. There's a lot of them I can't keep track. The thumb release holster I recently got into a scrap with a guy, and I think my external vest carrier clicked the button, which, as you know, allows the gun to be drawn. I was in a handcuffing position, and the gun wasn't going to fall out. I'm not 100% sure it happened, but I thought it did. Kind of eye-opener for me. I train with my gear. My coworkers will be able to testify to that. I'd done everything but a scrap in my duty belt. Never had that happen, but someone could have drawn it out potentially. Could have fell out if I was on my back potentially. Hopefully never be there. Hopefully you won't either. But made me switch back to this holster. I do plan on replacing this with a basket weave setup, a little bit more professional looking. And I do plan to go to a level 3, which is going to be the guard, this hood release, and that SLS button. It's coming. This is just what I got for now, so I'm working with it. This is the handcuff case I was issued when I got hired at this agency. I didn't replace it. It's a cheap bow, open top. I carry Smith & Wesson nickel Model 100s. I got actually this pair in particular I got from a girlfriend in high school, believe it or not. Got some good use out of them. Never had any issues, never had to have them cut off. If I end up having to replace my handcuffs, I will be getting another set of these. I like them. Agency issues the black powder coated handcuffs. I've had some issues with those. They rust, they're stiffer, I can't seem to break them in. They don't look as good in my opinion, they get scratched up easy, so I use my own stuff. Anybody who's been in this field for any amount of time knows how important this pouch is. also issued to me. It's the glove pouch. I typically carry one in here, one pair, and one pair in my pocket. Black nitrile gloves. I know they're a little bit more expensive if you have to buy your own, but they're worth the money. A little bit more durable. Needles, you know, the drug epidemic we're going through with heroin nowadays. It's better to be safe than sorry. I wouldn't recommend these for search gloves. I have search gloves. These are what I carry on me, you know, evidence collection. Occasionally, if I'm in a pinch, I'll use them for a search, but I try not to. My agency's kind of specialty, as I've hinted at, here in the Midwest. And we dispatch from our office. I got a desk, and you know, we're luxurious that way. We got our office and desk, and I keep my patrol bag next to my desk, and I take all my gear out of that, gear off the shelves, whatever we need for the calls. I kind of know what I'm getting into ahead of time. It allows me to grab what I need if I don't carry it on me. So I pretty much carry the basics, the bare minimum, on my person. Moving on, this is a cheapo holster I was issued. Belt clip, Narcan pouch. We gave quite a bit of this out in the sense we were using them on overdose victims. Last year. This year, not so much, thank God, knock on wood. I don't care for this holster. It pops off when I sit down in my chair in my office or in my car. So my external carriers kept it from falling off. I've been fortunate that way, but it is what it is. It's what I'm issued. It's what I'm required to carry. You got to work within your SOPs. You notice this blank space. We work in mainly facility environment, maritime also. We click our radio on here, it stays on. I've never needed a pouch or a holster for it. I've been fortunate, it stayed on. My external vest carrier kind of sits on top of my radio too, holds it down. I run a mic loop up onto my external carrier above my badge. I do that so I can operate it left-handed or cross, but mainly left-handed. I can run the gun and my handcuffs, one-handed manipulation while miking. If you're dealing with somebody combative or God forbid something worse happens, you got to go for your weapon. Your right hand will be hopefully free if you're on the radio at that given moment. Moving to the front, I took quite a bit of flack from my coworkers for this. Like I said, mainly plainclothes operation. Some uniform, I typically do the uniform, but the reason I took flack on this, some of our guys only carry one magazine in their gun. Some carry one extra. Some carry the two extra that are issued to them. I don't agree with that line of thinking. I carry all my magazines. A couple reasons I went with this. First is, magazines most likely part to fail in a gun. Everybody knows that. It's unlikely you're ever going to burn through your first magazine in a law enforcement interaction, firefight. It can happen, but very unlikely. But what if your magazine fails? You got extras. In my situation, when my partner's magazines fail, I got extras, right? Another reason I went with this is what's issued to us. It's one of the double magazine pouch, snap nylons. Look at the space, guys. 3 for 2. This makes sense. You never heard anybody who's ever been in a firefight say, man, I wish I didn't have all that ammo on me. Okay, so it just makes sense. Magazines go down, partners need ammo, or God forbid you need it. It's there, and for the space of 2, I'm gonna do it all day long. Like I said, this is my duty belt setup. It's pretty bare bones, basic, but I do carry the external carrier, and some of you guys who've been in this field are gonna be like, where are your basics? Where are your bare bones at? Well, obviously, law enforcement, #1 items and tools is gonna be your notebook and your pen, okay? And I carry that in my vest. Right in the rain, I use a gel pen. I'm in the Midwest, it gets cold. I'm typically indoors at my agency, but in the event I'm outside, gel works real well. I got a right in the rain pouch, or right in the rain pad in a Boston leather pouch. I keep that in my external carrier, taking notes. I carry a flashlight, a little stream light, and I carry a black light. The reason I do that is we deal with a lot of IDs and counterfeits at my agency. Typically investigative, we do fraud, money laundering, thefts, your basic domestic calls. We kind of get a little bit of all, but we're lower speed, mainly investigative and regulatory. So A black light comes in handy for me a lot of times. I carry a pocket knife, glass breaker, seatbelt cutter, and obviously, you know, your blade. Basics on my vest, mic, badge, big police vest. For the area I'm in, it's tactical, but it's just got some pouches on it. If I had a real tactical vest, which this area is kind of behind the times on that, I would be taking a lot of stuff off my belt and hooking into that. Everybody knows it's better for your back in the long run. I'm still relatively younger in law enforcement, so I want to keep my body healthy so I can keep in this job as long as I can in this field. But right now I have what I have. So in my right BDU pocket on the leg, I typically carry my civilian wallet, money, cards, IDs, and a badge holder on a neck chain in case I drop into plain clothes or, you know, something happens where I need to hook my badge on that way. And in my left side, I typically carry my badge wallet and Miranda card. On our SOPs, we got to read off the Miranda card, so I got that in there. Keys, top left pocket, and my upper right pocket I typically keep empty. I'll hook my phone in there if I can, and if not, a lot of times we'll drop it on my vest. Our radio doesn't reach out to dispatch, so we actually call dispatch manually, or radio a separate dispatch center, and they will call the state police dispatch on our behalf. But I use my cell phone typically. It's the way my agency is, unfortunately, so that's what I'm stuck working with. So I do have to keep my cell phone with me if I'm going to be running people and, you know, plates, etc. So this is my setup. I like to take the best ideas and incorporate it into what I have and replace the negative with it. And that's what it's all about, guys. If you got any ideas to improve my setup or experiences on why your setup's similar and why you endorse the setup, drop it in the comments. I'm all about trying to get to the next level, and people watching this video are trying to learn and progress as well. New officers, we can start them off at a higher level. Older officers may learn a thing or two, and hopefully you guys will teach me something. So if you have any comments, questions, drop them, and I'll respond back as soon as possible, and hopefully we can all progress together. Thanks.